Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is your Monday Night Raw results video, as well as Superstar spoilers. But as usual, happy birthdays on August 25th, Ivan Koloff. August 27th, Sergeant Slaughter. August 28th, Mike Rapata. WWE announced the following over the weekend that Mr. Fuji has passed away. As WWE is saddened to learn that WWE Hall of Famer Harry Fujiwara, known to WWE fans as Mr. Fuji, has passed away this morning at the age of 82. Fuji spent more than 30 years entertaining fans worldwide as both an in-ring competitor and one of WWE's greatest managers. A five-time world WWE Tag Team Champion, Fuji was infamous for keeping small bags of salt in his tights, which he would throw into opponents' eyes. After retiring from the ring, Fuji managed a litany of WWE's most feared superstars, such as George Animal Steel, Kamala, Killer Khan, Demolition, The Powers of Pain, Yokozuna, and most notably, Magnificent Don Morocco. And WWE did some career highlights for Mr. Fuji 2007 Hall of Fame induction. With Morocco, Fuji treated the WWE fans to the classic Fuji Vice, Fuji General, Fuji Bandito, and Fuji Chan series. These series were ahead of their time because spoofing successful television shows as they tried to break into Hollywood was the epitome of sports entertainment. His career will be remembered by different generations for different reasons, but Mr. Fuji, whether as a superstar or manager, is one of the most entertaining performers in the industry of WWE. WWE extended condolences to Fujiwara family, friends and fans, as well as myself, as I posted on the on Raw this link for you. And this following is Kurt Angle's appearance on Ric Flair show highlights, which can be heard full at mlwradio.com. Angle comments on UFC fighter Conor McGregor's comments on WWE wrestlers. Conor McGregor is an incredible athlete and a wonderful fighter. I watched him as he's so polished. I believe that Conor has taken the wrestling playbook and utilized it in UFC. In other words, he loves being a heel, and he does it very well. I think he just did it because it makes his character even more hateful. I think that Conor is doing this strictly for the money. The more he can stir people up, the more popular he becomes. I also think that he wants to cross over. I think he wants to go to WWE, and this is a good opening, a good avenue for him. I don't think Conor McGregor is going to fight much longer. Angle comments on WWE's success of AJ Styles. AJ's a one-of-a-kind. I've always compared him to a lot of people like Shawn Michaels. He's a knack in the ring. He just knows where he is and what to do. He has it all, psychology, technique. He knows how to fire up at the right time and how to sell. This kid is just phenomenal, as like his character says, as he does. I've never had anything less than a 5-star match with the kid. I can't believe it took him this long to get to WWE. That's what blew my mind because I've known him for at least 11 years, and it's like, what's going on here? Why hasn't this kid had the opportunity? And I'm sure Vince McMahon is like, damn, if I had this kid 10 years ago, I'm glad he made it. AJ had a great career in TNA. He went to Ring of Honor and he did New Japan. But it's good to see him in his career in WWE. I'm very happy for him. Well, that's where Kurt is saying that AJ is going to end his career in WWE. Angle also said that he wouldn't be surprised if McGregor wants a WrestleMania match, such as the one that Floyd Mayweather had. Also, Angle discusses the SummerSlam match order. Brock Lesnar not being the type to go into the business for himself, working with Cody Rhodes on the independent scene, his own future, and more. Plus, UFC President Dana White also appeared on the show and spoke candidly about Ronda Rousey's health and recent operation, as well as CM Punk's upcoming fight at UFC 203. WWE Superstar Goldust has released his second episode of Jack and Dust. And this link here with his daughter Dakota, short for Dakota Jack. Next season of Stone Cold's Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge starts Monday, being today. Doing this video late at night. Austin tweeted the following at Steve Austin BSR. The calm before the storm. Broken Skull Challenge starts tomorrow. I could not download the picture because it was basically of a camper with a motorbike and a chair there. And it said King Kong Productions. So I guess that's the company that's doing CMT. And he also at CMT at 51 Minds at Ted Fowler 361. The WWE wrestler Bo Dallas got into a mishap over the weekend, and he was arrested on public intoxication charges in Texas. ProWrestlingSheet.com reports that Dallas-Fort Worth police officials have confirmed that he was arrested at the airport after being removed from his flight for yelling at the crew. The first I saw the story was on PW Mania, which noted that the Late Shift podcast host Steve Bell stated that Bo was arrested on Friday. There was another WWE wrestler, Diva, that was mentioned but removed as he was misinformed. He removed the name, but yet Bo Dallas stayed the same and he was arrested. Charlotte was the name being mentioned but removed. As of this update, WWE has yet to publicly comment on the arrest, being it's Tuesday morning. And here's more. Reported over the weekend that Bo Dallas was pulled from overseas tours following an altercation at a United States airport. PW Insider reported that Bo was arrested for public intoxication / drunkenness at 7:25 p.m. local time after police were notified about someone who had to be removed from a flight to Puebla, Mexico after yelling expletives at flight crew members. Bo left his carry-on luggage behind and started walking towards another departure gate after making a scene. Bo, matching the description of the person police were looking for, wearing a tap-out t-shirt, was found by airport authorities slumped over 6 gates away from the flight he was removed from. He was reportedly looking at his phone with some of his belongings on the floor in front of him. Police didn't describe Bo as smelling of alcohol, as he admitted to drinking a little. When asked for more details on what was going on, Bo allegedly stated that he wasn't really planning on driving today. The police report described Bo as swaying side to side and speaking with a thick tongue while slurring his speech. Bo was described as showing poor dexterity while retrieving his belongings from the floor, meaning he could barely stand up. He was then questioned by police, and it was determined that he was intoxicated to the point he was a danger to himself and others, and then he was placed under arrest. This is not the first incident for Bo, as he was arrested for DUI back in 2012 while working for WWE NXT, and as soon as I find out more details, I think this will happen on Friday. Whenever I find out more details, I'll let you know. Hall of Famer Booker T and his reality wrestling promotion and school raising money for victims of the recent flooding in Louisiana. As of this writing, his GoFundMe page has raised $810 of $3,000 goal with 35 people in 3 days. Check out his message at this link, as well as Booker also his link for GoFundMe / Booker T flood relief. I'll post them both. TMZ reports that Bill Goldberg is currently talking with WWE about expanding their working relationship. Goldberg is currently serving as WWE 2K17's official spokesperson and was on hand throughout the entirety of the SummerSlam weekend. TMZ notes that their plugged-in source from within WWE says that the wheels are in motion for Goldberg's return. TMZ reached out to Goldberg's rep, Uncle Louie, who refused to comment. Braun Strowman and Nia Jax each picked up squash matches on Raw, wins over enhancement talents as WWE Raw or Monday Night in Houston. Strowman defeated a masked independent wrestler named Americos from the local scene in Texas. Jax beat a local wrestler named Hyan, who normally works under the name of Hyan Young, which includes Booker T's reality wrestling promotion. So I'm guessing both of the wrestlers are from Booker T's company. Global Force Wrestling will partner with Tennessee State Fair to provide 10 days of action-packed professional wrestling on the Midway on each night of the fair from September 9th through the 18th. The fairgrounds in Nashville has a long and storied history with professional wrestling and with GFW co-founder Jeff Jarrett. And he's proud to bring his new brand home. I can't tell you how excited we are to be involved with the Tennessee State Fair, Jarrett said. I've been to the fair as a kid. I brought my kids. And I've wrestled here literally hundreds of times. Wrestling roots are in state and county fairs. And GFW recently had a successful show at the Porter County Fair in Valparaiso, Indiana. This is a great fit for our brand. And we look forward to seeing some longtime fans and making some new ones. Tennessee State Fair 2016 theme is a Tennessee tradition. As the fair was inaugurated more than 150 years ago, it features arts and crafts, explores agriculture, and allows attendees to have new and exciting experiences in a family-friendly atmosphere. What could be better fit with our theme than professional wrestling and Tennessee's own Jeff Jarrett? Fair manager Scott Jones said, wrestling is part of the fabric of the fairgrounds, and adding it to all the attractions we have at the fair should only add to the entertainment value for all who attend. For more info about the Tennessee State Fair, including ticket prices and sponsors, visit tnstatefair.org. It's been a while since we've heard anything about truly newsworthy about GFW, so it's good to see that Jeff Jarrett is still hustling. There will be a rematch of the Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton main event from SummerSlam. WWE is now advertising Lesnar vs. Orton as the main event of the September 24th live event in Chicago, Illinois at the Allstate Arena, thanks to ProWrestling.net reader Darius. WWE also advertising Roman Reigns vs. Rusev in a street fight for the U.S. Championship, Sami Zayn and Neville vs. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, New Day vs. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The previous main event of Finn Balor vs. Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship is obviously off due to Balor's injury. WWE is in Texarkana, separate from Raw. It's in Texarkana, Arkansas, at Four States Entertainment Center with a live event that will be held at the same time Raw is airing on TV. WWE was advertising the following talent for the Texarkana live event, which is not very far from where I'm located here in Shreveport. John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, American Alpha, Natalya, the Usos, Baron Corbin, Becky Lynch, The Miz, Kane, and Apollo Crews. This is essentially a SmackDown live event that is not billed as a SmackDown live event. WWE hasn't paid any attention to the roster split rules on house shows thus far, or even in their dark main events at TV tapings. But the Monday house shows are likely to be SmackDown exclusive, with the Raw crew doing live TV. WWE posted the following promo here, featuring Universal Champion Kevin Owens. Find out how he became champion. This is for the September 25th Raw exclusive pay-per-view Clash of Champions, as he became champion in the main event of Raw. And they only planned this over the weekend, from what I read on a couple of dirt sheets. WWE hosted quarterfinals of the Cruiserweight Classic, Full Sail University. In contrast to the 20-minute time limits observed for the first two rounds, quarterfinals allow 30 minutes. Here are the results for the Cruiserweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Noam Dar. Grand Metalik defeated Akira Tozawa. TJ Perkins defeated Rich Swann. Kota Ibushi defeated Brian Kendrick. Well, he was my favorite to win it. According to the brackets, Grand Metalik will now go on to face Zack Sabre Jr. in the semis, while Kota Ibushi takes on TJ Perkins. And that was the end of the results for that over the weekend. Jeff Hardy may have told us the name for Final Deletion 2 already. A spoiler for the next deletion segment. Hardy spoke with LA Weekly last month, promoting his appearance at the Gathering of the Jugalos, and teased the potential sequel at the time, which was confirmed as being built to an end in a report on Friday. When asked about the match, Hardy said the sequel is going to be called The Final Liquidation. We have so many outrageous ideas. As Billy Corgan and Dixie Carter were both agreeing to let them do this on their own. Original report from Friday said that the match was being referred to as Final Deletion 2, Decay or Die. It would pit Matt and Jeff against Decay. It's entirely possible that this is a change from the original plans from last month, or that only the match name has been changed. TNA has yet to officially announce the sequel match, but there was filming done around Matt Hardy's home last week for material that will build to the event. Raw pre-show was Scott Stanford immediately hyping the Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens versus Big Cass Fatal 4-Way for the vacant Universal Championship. And the match was actually changed to an elimination match. Fatal 4-Way. He was joined by the panel of Booker T, Lita, and Jerry the King Lawler. Stephanie McMahon has ordered Paul Heyman to appear at Raw because of Brock Lesnar's actions at SummerSlam. Lita hyped that Sasha Banks will appear on the kickoff show. Stamper said that Seth Rollins has become a very dangerous superstar. Booker says that he looks at Rollins and thinks he has all the tools to make a mistake like that, Booker said. Or was it a mistake? That's the question. Lita said you may want that reputation as a competitor, but you don't want to be marked as a dangerous in the locker room. One Hall of Famer who has been saying that was Bret Hitman Hart. He said one of these guys is going to end up killing somebody. They showed Rollins tweeting that Dangerous is my middle name, but next Universal Champ works just as well. Kevin Owens responded by saying his middle name is Yannick. Lawler said he thinks accidents happen, and it's not Rollins' fault. Booker brought up Bret Hart, saying Rollins needs to get his act together before somebody gets hurt. What in the hell am I listening to? I know they're trying to be topical, but this is such a ridiculous conversation for WWE personalities to have on a kayfabe show. The host then announced that the title match on Raw will be an elimination match. Booker T picked Big Cass to win the title. He was my underdog favorite. Yep. Lita picked Seth Rollins. Stanford said he's on the Cass bandwagon as well. Footage aired of Cesaro complaining about the first match of his Best of 7 series, which he was being moved to the kickoff show, and how he lost. He also complained about not being included in the qualifying matches last week to earn a spot in tonight's four-way. Lawler said that there's a reason Cesaro is what he is. He told Cesaro to buy a personality the next time he's at the mall. He's just there, Lawler said. He's a great talent. Stanford hyped Sheamus versus Cesaro in the second match of their Best of 7 series for tonight's Raw. Lawler begged for Cesaro to show him fire. Host recapped Bayley's debut on Raw. They read a tweet from Scott Dawson, who wrote that he wants his daughter to grow up admiring Bayley like he admired Bret Hart. Sasha Banks was interviewed. She appeared to be backstage at Raw. She said she's okay and she won't have to be out of action as long as Finn Balor. They went to the kayfabe approach by talking as if the back injury she suffered or occurred in her SummerSlam match with Charlotte. Stamper brought up Bayley debuting on Raw and how it affects the landscape. Sasha said that she watched it at home and wished she could have been there. Sasha said Bayley has to know that she's in front of her and in the line for the title, but she deserves to be on Raw. Stamper then addressed the death of Mr. Fuji and sent up footage of the cult classic Fuji Vice video. Lawler said he had everything you would want from a bad guy manager. Booker said he was a great ribber. Hosts were surprised that fans picked Kevin Owens to win the main event. And then they wrapped up the show. Spoilers for Superstars. Thanks to Johnny Rosado for attending the Raw in Houston, Texas at Toyota Center and sending the following spoilers. Shining Star defeated Gold of Truth. U.S. Champion Rusev with Lana defeated Jack Swagger by submission. Well, his only submission is accolade. Thanks to Dan Dedge for texting the following Superstars tapings. A little bit more indeed. Well, it's the same results. Goldust and R-Truth defeated the Shining Stars. Well, a little bit different. So I guess you have to go to the Superstars to get it. The Shining Stars defeated the R-Truth in the other one. U.S. Champion Rusev defeated Jack Swagger. Well, at least that one was the same. Raw opened up with a graphic memory of Mr. Fuji. We go into a video package to hype tonight's Fatal 4-Way for the Universal title. Michael Cole welcomes us to Raw, joined in by Byron Saxton. Cole sends us to the ring. Corey Graves is in the ring with the Universal title. Sitting on stools are Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, and Big Cass. Well, during this segment, my feed cut off a couple of times. What have you? Rollins cut off Grave and took credit for putting Finn Balor out of action. Rollins talked about how he's the favorite to win tonight. Rollins knocks the others and hands it over to Owens. Owens can finally focus on the title now that Sami Zayn is out of the picture. Owens is a prize fighter. He's at his best when the stakes are high. Owens says Rollins talks big, but he delivers big. Owens addresses Reigns next, and fans boo him. Owens says Reigns fights hard, but he fights smart. And Cass is just really tall. Owens asks if he thinks that really counts for something. Cass says, yes, it does. Owens takes a shot at Enzo Amore, and Cass does the same with Chris Jericho. Cass says he knows where he stands. He's only been here a few months and has never won a title, but that means nothing to lose. That means he has nothing to lose. Cass says no one expects him to win, and Rollins jokes that even Enzo took a bet out against him. Well, they go on until Reigns decks Owens. Rollins unloads on Cass. Reigns and Cass met in the middle of the ring. Rollins comes from behind and Reigns drops him. Reigns sends Cass to the floor. Reigns with Superman punch on Rollins, sending him to the floor. Reigns stands tall as a good amount of fans boo him. Reigns looks at the title as Owens backs up the ramp talking trash. Still to come segment, Paul Heyman will address Brock Lesnar's actions and fine. We see Chris Jericho walking backstage before going to commercial. Neville versus Chris Jericho. Back from the break, out comes Neville. Go backstage, Chris Jericho and Tom Phillips. Pre-match comments. Jericho believes Kevin Owens will win the title later tonight and says he's going to embarrass Neville. He's going to give him the gift of Jericho. Jericho was out next. Bell rings and Neville drops Jericho with right hand. Jericho ends up hitting the floor for a breather as Neville puts on the brakes. Jericho talks trash to the fans, but out comes Neville from behind. Jericho turns around to a kick. Neville works him around the ring and back inside the ring. Neville goes up top for a big crossbody and a 2 count. Jericho crawls to the referee and wraps his arms around his waist. Jericho gets in a cheap shot and turns things around as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Jericho is sending Neville to the mat after countering a superplex. Jericho keeps him grounded. More back and forth with some high-risk moves. They trade moves and counters. Neville with a super kick. Neville goes up top for the red arrow, but rolls through as Jericho moves out of the way. Jericho then gets Neville in the lion tamer for the win. After the match, Neville recovers in the ring as Jericho stands tall and makes his exit. Bayley is backstage with hugs. She walks up on WWE Tag Team Champions New Day, and they all mark out. Dana Brooke appears. She runs Bayley down and says she will never succeed because she doesn't belong here. New Day reminds us how Bayley beat her last week. Dana says she wasn't out there to wrestle last week. She threatens to find Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but the New Day tell her to bring it on. It sounds like we've got a 6-person match for later. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Cole congratulates The Rock on being the highest paid actor. Nia Jax versus Hyan. We go to the ring. Out comes Nia Jax and her opponent Hyan awaits in the ring. We see a video from earlier of Andre DeMarco interviewing her. Hyan says her heart is big like everything else in Texas. Andrea hopes it's still beating after tonight. Nia gets another easy win after beating Hyan around. Nothing more than a beatdown. We go to another vignette from Dr. Luke Gallows and Dr. Carl Anderson. As I say, they're the former doctors. They cut promos on a New Day, and in comes their nurse, Dana Brooke. Oh, nurse! In comes Dana Brooke. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Cole leads us to a video package hyping up Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn versus Jinder Mahal was your next match. We go to the ring, out versus Sami, as Jinder already waiting in the ring. Back and forth start, Jinder takes control, but Sami turns it around a few minutes later. It's a hell of a kick and drops Jinder for the win. Still to come segment, Bayley and the New Day versus Dana Brooke at the club. Also, a Sasha Banks medical update. Back to commercial. I missed this match. My feed didn't screw up on this one. I went in the kitchen to cook supper. Back from the break, and WWE Women's Champion Charlotte was out with the announcers. We'll see a video from Raw pre-show with Sasha talking about how she's coming back better than ever, and will be gunning for Charlotte. New Day and Bayley versus Dana Brooke and the club. We go to the ring. Out comes Bayley with the WWE Tag Team Champions New Day. Out next comes Dana Brooke with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Bayley and Dana go at it to start the match. Bayley took control, but Dana got in some offense. New Day comes in and unloads, but it turns around and when Dana provides an assist. New Day and Bayley have their opponents on the floor as we go to commercial with them dancing in the ring. Back from the break, things finally turn around and after Anderson hits a spinebuster on Kofi. Gallows comes in and keeps control, turning Kofi upside down in the corner with a low drop kick. Gallows keeps control for another pin attempt. Gallows unloads with elbows and keeps Kofi down. Anderson comes back in and works Kofi over for several minutes. Kofi finally gets a break with a double knee. Bayley tags in, bringing Dana in. Bayley unloads and hits a nice suplex. They go to the second rope for a corkscrew elbow for a 2 count as Anderson drags Dana to the floor. Big E nails Anderson, but Gallows floors him with a boot. Kofi leaps out of the ring and nails Gallows. Dana rolls Bayley up from behind for a 2 count. Bayley hits the Bayley to belly suplex for the win. After the match, Bailey and the New Day celebrate. Still to come segment. Paul Heyman also fatal 4-way to crown the second Universal Champion. And we get Cesaro backstage. Tom Phillips approaches for comments on the Best of 7 series against Sheamus. Cesaro admits he's in a rough spot, but still plans on getting the title shot that Mick Foley promised to the winner of the series. Cesaro cut a promo on Sheamus and threatens to Cesaro swing him as he walks off back to commercial. And the match is up next, match number 2 in the series. Back to the ring, out comes Sheamus. He talks to Byron Saxton in the ring about he's truly better than Cesaro. Cesaro was out next for a pre-match interaction. Cesaro controls most of the match early on. Sheamus sells an elbow injury and gets sent back to the floor as we go to commercial with Cesaro standing tall. Back from the break, Sheamus ends up dropping Cesaro into an Irish Curse backbreaker for a 2 count. It wasn't very much of a backbreaker, it was real quick. Sheamus stops and goes for a clover leaf, more back and forth. Cesaro ducks a road kick and hits a springboard uppercut for a 2 count. Cesaro goes for the swing, but Sheamus makes it to the bottom rope. Cesaro pulls him into a close 2 count, more back and forth action as Cesaro with a big uppercut. Sheamus with an elbow and a roll up for a 2. Sheamus arguing with the referee, thinking he got the 3 count, and gets rocked with an uppercut. Cesaro unloads in the corner as fans count. Cesaro with the uppercut train, sending him to the floor. Cesaro charges on the floor but gets backdropped hard into the ring post. Apparently this is where he's injured. I'll give you more story on that at the end of the video. The referee checked on Cesaro as he's down in pain. Sheamus brought him back in the ring and applied the cloverleaf for the win. Sheamus is up 2-0. After the match, Sheamus stands tall as Cesaro was checked on. Announcers lead us to a tribute video for Mr. Fuji. Back from the break, Colesall leads us to a video package on Kevin Owens. Braun Strowman versus Americo, masked wrestler, who gets unmasked towards the end of the match. We go to the ring. Byron Saxton is interviewing a masked wrestler named Americo. Braun Strowman's music interrupts, and out he comes. Americo is speechless. Braun takes Americo into the corner and goes to work. Braun manhandles Americo and plants him on his face for an easy win. After the match, Braun stood tall, rips off Americo's mask. Braun holds the mask high, and some fans boo him. We get replays and come back to Braun yelling at the fans as he makes his exit. And they don't show his face. They don't even show him at all. They just cut to Braun's chest and uppercut, holding the mask up. Stephanie McMahon backstage, walking. Up next, Heyman addresses Lesnar's recent reactions. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Stephanie welcomes us to a history-making edition of Raw. We're just moments away from crowning a new champion, but first, Brock Lesnar's actions need to be addressed. Mainly the F5 to her brother. She says she did not welcome the unprovoked attack to her brother Shane McMahon. Stephanie says no one messes with her family. Paul Heyman interrupts, and out he comes to a pop. Fans chant ECW. At one point, Stephanie reminds us she purchased ECW from Heyman a long time ago. Fans chant CM Punk next, but they no-sell it. They go on, and Heyman pulls a huge stack of cash out. Well, he starts counting off Lesnar's $500 fine. In ones. And Stephanie tosses the whole stack, knocking it out of his hands after the 5th or 6th bill. Stephanie rips Heyman and threatens his job. Well, with money just flying around the ring, surprised the fans didn't jump the barrier and try to take the money. She will stop at nothing to avenge her brother. She says a storm is coming in Heyman's ugly way. Heyman fires back about Lesnar is a storm. Heyman says the apology he's here to deliver goes right out to Stephanie. He realizes the compromising position Brock put her in. They go on, and Stephanie ends up accepting his apology before walking off. But he's just there. His normal smile. All right. We get another look at Finn Balor's surgery. Still to come, the Fatal 4-Way main event. Darren Young backstage. walking with Bob Backlund. Titus O'Neil is also walking. We'll go to commercial. A video hyping Roman Reigns for the main event. Titus versus Darren was up next. Titus was out first. As we see what's happened in recent weeks, Darren Young was out next with the Hall of Famer Bob Backlund. This match was so predictable. You know Darren Young's going to get to even up the score. Bell rings and they go at it. Young is fired up, forcing Titus to go to the floor for a breather. Comes back in, but Young hits him with more shots. Young with a forearm off the ropes and a neck breaker. Young keeps control until Titus turns around and launches him over the top rope and out to the floor into a photographer. Titus talks trash and brings Darren back in for a big power slam. Titus talking trash about how Young owes him. Titus works Young over and keeps him grounded down. Titus with more offense and a big pump handle slam. Young ends up getting the win thanks to an assist from Backlund. After the match, Young and Backlund celebrate until Titus attacks from behind, who lays them both out and hits the clash of Titus on Young. It's fans move. Foley and Stephanie are backstage. They agree that there must be a winner in the main event. All friends or associates should be banned from ringside. Rollins walks up and says tonight will be the best night they've had. All their faith will be rewarded as Rollins brings home the gold. Stephanie believes tonight is Rollins' night. He hugs her and says he won't let her down. Still to come to the main event, match commercial. Fatal 4-way for the vacant Universal title. Roman versus Kevin versus Big Cass versus Seth Rollins. We go to the ring for your formal ring introductions. First is Roman Reigns, followed by Kevin Owens. Seth was out next. The match will crown the second ever Universal Champion. Big Cass was out next with Enzo Amore to a big pop. They cut a promo on the match, and Cass heads to the ring. We get formal ring introductions from JoJo. Back from the break, we got the bell. Owens immediately goes to the floor and leans up against the barrier next to Foley and Stephanie. Reigns and Cass start working on Rollins. Cass sends Rollins over the top. Reigns and Cass meet in the middle of the ring, but get attacked from behind by Owens and Rollins. More back and forth, in and out of the ring. Cass ends up sending Owens to the floor and meeting Reigns in the middle again. Cass and Reigns go at it. Reigns gets the upper hand. They both tumble to the floor after Cass nails a big boot. Rollins runs the ropes and nails a suicide dive. Owens comes over and drops Rollins on the barrier. Reigns then runs the ropes, takes out Owens. We go to commercial with everyone down on the floor on the outside of the ring. Of course, perfect spot for a commercial break. Back from the break, Owens nails a big elbow from the apron on Cass. Rollins takes Owens out as he yells at Stephanie and Foley. More back and forth with Rollins and Owens looking strong. Owens works over Cass in the ring now, keeping him off his feet. Owens readies for the corner cannonball, but Rollins pulls him to the floor and sends him into the barrier. Rollins comes in and Cass charges, but lands face first in the corner. Rollins nails him and boxes him, slapping Cass around. Reigns runs in with a big clothesline on Rollins, and then another. Cass floors Reigns with a big boot. Cass runs wild and hits the Empire Elbow on Rollins. He scoots Rollins, but Reigns nails a Superman punch on Cass. Rollins sends Reigns into the ring post. Rollins kicks Cass for a 2 count. Owens with a frog splash on Cass for the first elimination pin. Big Cass has been eliminated. We go back to commercial. Back from the break, Owens with more offense pin attempts. Reigns comes back in and unloads on Rollins in the corner. And some fans boo and some count. They trade counters, but Reigns drops him with a boot. Fans boo as Reigns readies for Superman punch. Rollins ducks it and ends up sending Reigns to the floor, but he lands on his feet. Rollins goes for a dive, but eats the right hand. Rollins comes in with a Superman punch, but it's blocked. Rollins with a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. More back and forth as Reigns nails a Superman punch in midair for a close 2 count. Rollins blocks a spear and nails an ensiguri. Owens comes in with a cannonball for both men. Reigns nails a Superman punch on Owens and covers for a close 2 count. Owens blocks a spear. Reigns blocks a pop-up powerbomb with a big punch. Owens rolls to the floor. Reigns blocks a pedigree and Rollins rolls Rollins up. Reigns goes on and hits a sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count. Reigns ends up hitting the drive-by on Rollins. Then Superman on Owens on the floor. Rollins and Owens are down on the floor now. Reigns spears Rollins on the floor. Well, Triple H suddenly appears and lays Roman out with a pedigree on the floor. And also rolls Reigns inside the ring. Wakes up Rollins up. As they both get inside the ring, Rollins covers Reigns and pins him for his elimination. Well, Reigns is eliminated. Triple H then drags Reigns under the bottom rope, walks off. Triple H rolls Owens in the ring and follows him. He takes off his coat and kicks Rollins out of nowhere to a big pop. He looks up at Owens and drops Rollins with a pedigree. Owens is shocked. He covers Rollins for the pin and wins the Universal title. After the match, Triple H celebrates with Owens, shaking his hand, goes out and hands him the belt. Stares down Foley and Stephanie before walking to the back. They're shocked also. We get replays and shots of Owens going wild with a title. Raw goes off the air with the Universal Champion celebrating. What happened after the match? Cesaro reportedly suffered an injury in this week's edition of Raw from Houston. After the show, Cesaro alluded to the fact that he suffered an injury of some kind and quoted by saying, "Well, I guess I'm not working out or anything this week," he said on Twitter after the show. Soon after that, WWE.com reported that Cesaro suffered multiple contusions to the lumbar spine. Well, obviously from the ring post spot in their match when Sheamus threw him over. Late in the match, Sheamus backdropped Cesaro into the turnbuckle before locking him in a cloverleaf. Victory put Sheamus 2-0 in their best of 7 series. Also on Raw, Triple H made a surprise return and helped Kevin Owens win the Universal title after attacking Roman and turning on Triple H's turn. Triple H then had a stare down with Mick Foley and Stephanie before walking off. It's possible that this was leading to Triple H versus Rollins at WrestleMania 33. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Rollins versus Triple H was one of their original plans last year before Rollins got hurt and went down with an injury. And this is what happened with Seth Rollins after all. A video confrontation with Stephanie after all went off the air. And what happened with that on the video? Rollins asked Stephanie what happened, and she said that she didn't know. Rollins got in Stephanie's face, asking how this could happen after all they've been through. Of course, Stephanie dressed Rollins down and demanded that he back off because she had no idea it was going to happen. Rollins backed off and looked dejected to end the clip. Luke Gallows' wife was asked a question. If you don't know, she's also a wrestler. Amber O'Neil, Gallows, didn't appear to be too happy with the segment on Raw between Dana Brooke, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. In the segment, Gallows and Anderson enlisted the help of Nurse Brooke for their match against the New Day and Bayley. Amber replied to a fan about her thoughts and posted a series of tweets that were later removed. Basically, she was saying that you can have him. Telling Dana, you can have him. Oh, well, wait a minute. Come back. Or what have you. Well, anyways, this was just, she also said something about, if you don't know wrestling, keep your mouth shut, because you don't know wrestling. That's how they do it. They go back and forth to promote something. Well, that concludes my Raw video and your Superstar spoilers for this week of August 30th, or August 29th for all. Thanks again. Peace out. See you when I'll be. By the way, if you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.